Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Playing World of Tanks. I'm AJ, and today we'll be looking at a game that I had in the T49, which is the American Tier 8 light tank. Now Karelia has changed a lot in the last patch, and the hill is pretty important but not as important as it used to be. And many people are not yet realizing, even I didn't realize, that there's a path through the middle that leads up the hill. And in my T49, what I wanted to do was get to the path as early as possible. So before we begin, if you're new to the channel, what I decide to do, or generally what I tend to do in my videos, is I pick a game that I did fairly well in, or in which my decision making was crucial in some way to me either having a good game or my team having a good game, and I generally try to tell you the thought process behind it. Now what I'm doing here is I'm rushing through the middle. Now something spots the RU. I don't know whether it was me or it was somebody else. And over here I make this foolish mistake of actually sitting around far too long to take a shot at the RU. As soon as I realize he's backing off, I realize that I've been spotted. I don't have to stay there to sort of like figure that out. So I back off, still take a shot from the T57, and then I go back up hoping to spot the T57, who I actually thought might have been sitting fairly close. But it turns out that he wasn't. Now our presence on the hill is a little bit thin considering the amount of tanks that are spotted in the German region. So I'm gonna, as soon as I realize that I can't spot anything, it's close enough, I'm gonna start going up the hill and decide to help the two medium tanks that are already there. Now one thing to mind at this point is that in the T49D's choice of ammunition is actually very important to how well or bad you will do in this game. So I load heat round in anticipation of pinning the AMX-30 because it's a very lightly armored tank, and if you see me rush my shot here, it is not because I wanted to actually secure damage, but more so that I didn't want my T628 to die. Now the RD decides to focus me down in this game. If you thought they were trying to aim at the mediums, you're wrong. Watch this. Yep, the batch at 1558 decides it's the best idea to take out a tier 8 scout in a tier 10 game, which is never a good thing. He just wasted 4 shots trying to kill me, didn't do any damage. Even if I'd killed me, like let's say, it would not have changed the game, honestly. Now over here I aim my shot pretty poorly. I'm aiming low, not remembering that the side armor of the E100 is spaced and it would probably eat my shot before it does any damage. Now I decide to hug this hill because I know that the RD is aiming in this direction. I see the 1390 move over here. I was thinking about like taking a shot at him, but this is such a long range shot, and he disappears anyways, that the likelihood of actually hitting it would have been so minimal that next to impossible. Now this time I make the correct choice of actually hitting the E100 in the turret. It reduces him to pretty low hit points, and our team manages to take him out. Now I see the E50 has decided to come over and start contesting the hill. I ping the map furiously, and I managed to put a shot into him and try to run out of his gun's range. And on my team, I think one of the medium tanks decides to take him out. Now actually I was getting shot in the side by the AMX-1390. I was pretty lucky to survive. The GPZ who was sitting in our base actually managed to hit him and one-shot him, which basically meant that this flank was more or less now secure. I mean, it was secure early on, but the 1390 sort of like contesting it just made it just a little bit that much more difficult to play the game I wanted to. In hindsight, I should have been actually paying attention. I just did not think that the 1390 would be reckless enough to sort of come in this direction, given how easily you can be shot from anybody's base if you get lit. Over here, I decide to take a shot at this IS-8.
Critical hit.
I put my shot into him and then back off, and he gets taken out, I think, by one of our tanks before he gets back into cover. At this point, the T57, who was lit, who hit me the first time has actually lit in base. I fire a shot and this manages to actually pen the T57 in the back, which makes this roll roughly 900-ish. Now the RD takes out the IS-4. I kind of realize at this point that most of the enemy team is actually sitting to our right hand side and by the hill. So I decided now would be a great time to just abandon the hill and go into the enemy base, perhaps spot some RD, spot some TDs, and have our team sort of like push through into their cap. And the reason I've been playing a lot of T49 games just because I'm trying to get my T28 concept done. It's I think I'm only missing like 4 missions that I haven't done, and I am pretty close to actually getting some of them a couple of times, but today was fairly difficult to sort of like get some of those missions done. It was frustrating. And if you were in a game that I was in and I raged at you, I'm completely sorry. I'm just very competitive and just lose sight of things like it's a video game and you should have fun and not play it for stats. Well, you know, you want to be good at it. You just don't want to be terrible, but you know, you also don't want to like yell at like random strangers in this game either. So I fire on the Yak Tiger on the move, and there's no point in turning around just because by the time I get reloaded, he'll probably be taken out and decide to head in the opposite direction. So I think there's only the 183 who decides to come back and defend the E100 backside, and I managed to shoot him, and that's the last enemy that I killed, and the E100 gets taken out before I have a chance to reload. Now, this is one important thing about the T49 that you have to keep in mind. If you don't move the turret a lot, it's very easy to sort of like get your circle spread reduced and keep it that way. But if the moment you like turn your turret in any direction, you are gonna just suffer from bloom. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next episode of Playing World of Tanks.